No one remembered when the wars began. Only that the castles had always stood apart like jagged teeth across the land, each crowned with its own banner, each certain the others did not belong.
The quiet that followed the banners.
Across the plains roamed creatures of every kind, sea and land.
Scaled beasts with molten eyes marched beside ironclad towers that walked like giants. Each measured step shook the black plain, rattling chains and sending shards skittering into the lava veins. Steam bled from their nostrils and their tails clanged against the armored harnesses that bound them. Above, fortress
Winged things carved shadows across the sky. Their cries echoing over forests where antwered sentinels stood guard in silence.
Beneath the earth, burrowed nations listened to the tremble of marching feet above, counting distance in heartbeats and dread. Our hearts betray us.
Every kingdom believed the same truth. Position was survival. The high cliffs meant vision, the rivers meant life, the valleys meant passage, and the castles, always the castles, meet power. So they fought.
The river looks calm today. Hard to believe it carried the whole fleet last spring.
Calm on the surface, swift underneath. That's its way. Same as the people who live along it.
You think we'll hold it?
As long as we remember why it matters. The river feeds the fields, links the towns, keeps the cliffs alive.
Then we'd best keep watch.
Aye.
The river flows strong today. Aye, and the winds carry news from afar. We must remain vigilant.
For longer than any surviving map could remember, the world had known only movement. Armies marched, creatures migrated in armored tides, fortresses rose like stone teeth from valleys and cliffs, each one claiming a patch of soil as if the earth itself were a prize to be owned. No single war mattered. None were remembered clearly. Victories blurred into the next siege, the next campaign, the next generation of fighters raised beneath banners that promised land, honor, survival, whatever words were needed to keep the marching going.
Hold the line! Push them back! Shields up! Spears forward! Drive them off the ridge! With me, to the flank! Move! They're breaking! Press on! Hold fast!
What mattered was position. High ridges, river crossings, forest corridors, desert wells. Floating citadels drifting in the sky. Islands carved from ancient seas.
Broken wastelands were fought over like treasure. And when the dust settled, all that remained was silence. And us.
Every army believed its claim was the final one. Every fortress believed its walls would be the last to fall. But the wars never ended.
Creatures of every kind joined the struggle. Beasts bred for war. Towering horned things that could batter gates.
Winged predators, bred from the old cliffs and broken to the saddle, carried our kind across gulfs no bridge could span. They moved through shadow like a breath held tight, silence before the air split. And when the blade finally spoke, it was already too late to answer. Whispers in the dark, then nothing.
None of them fought for peace. They fought because the world had never known anything else. And so, the wars rolled across the land like weather. Until something changed, it began quietly, not with a roar, not with a prophecy, not even with a battle cry. It began with absence. Far in a contested valley where mountains bent inward like closing fists. A place known for centuries simply as the Narrow Reach. Armies had clashed so often that the ground itself had hardened under layers of old armor, broken weapons, and forgotten bones. Every season, banners returned there. Every season, blood followed. But one year, the valley fell silent. No signal fires burned. No patrols moved along the ridges. No horns echoed through the stone passes.
Sir Knight, the scouts reported strange things in the forest. What manner of strange things? Gather the men. We ride at dawn.
Word traveled slowly. Patrols entered the valley expecting ambush, and instead found wind moving through empty grass. Commanders did not believe them. So armies came. From the north, columns of ironclad soldiers marched between glacier peaks. From the eastern jungles came towering beasts with riders bound in living armor. Across the western desert rolled caravans of sandwalkers and bone engines, dragged by creatures older than cities. From the southern seas came fleets that carried armies ashore, like storms breaking against the land.
Form ranks by the shoreline. Cohort leaders, move your men forward. We march now.
All of them came for the valley, all of them expecting battle instead. They found stillness, no defenders, no traps, no scavengers, no creatures. Even the usual circling predators that fed on war had vanished. The air felt different, heavy, not threatening, just watchful. Soldiers spoke of it quietly while sharpening weapons. It felt like stepping into a room where someone had just stopped speaking. Like walking across ground that remembered something important, but refused to say it aloud. And the ground itself was wrong, not broken, not poisoned, not scarred by the centuries of conflict that had carved trenches and burned forests in every other contested place. The valley floor was smooth, green, untouched. Grass swayed in slow waves across the land as if battles had never happened there at all. Streams ran clear, stones stood uncracked. Even the wind moved gently, carrying no scent of smoke or death. It was as if the land had decided to wait. No one understood why. But armies are not built to understand silence. They are built to break it. So the fighting began anyway. At first it was cautious. Small clashes along the valley edges, testing strikes, probing assaults. But soon the old rhythm returned. Horns sounded, banners surged forward. War beasts charged through the grass. Sky riders clashed above the valley floor, like storms tearing at the clouds. And yet something lingered in the air. A pull not physical. Something deeper. Soldiers felt it in the quiet moments between attacks. In the pauses when commanders hesitated before ordering another charge. In the strange way fighters from opposite sides sometimes stopped mid-battle, staring across the field as if they recognized something familiar in the eyes of their enemy. Not friendship, not mercy. Something older, like a memory none of them had lived. The longer the armies remained in the valley, the stronger the feeling became. Battles grew slower. more uncertain, not because the warriors had grown weak, but because the silence beneath the war would not go away.
At night, the valley changed. Fires burned across the camps of dozens of armies that should have destroyed each other by now.
Instead, the fighting faded after sunset. Not by agreement. It simply stopped. Commanders gave orders.
Soldiers hesitated. Beasts that had been bred to kill refused to charge. Even the sky creatures avoided flying over the valley center, circling its edges like birds avoiding deep water. Something was there, not visible, not hostile, but present. The ground continued to wait. Days passed, then weeks. And the armies did something none of them had done before. They stayed, not conquering, not retreating, just staying. They built temporary camps where battle lines should have formed. Scouts wandered deeper into the valley, but reported nothing except the same unnatural calm.
The wars beyond the valley continued as they always had.
But here, at the center of endless conflict, the fighting had begun to unravel. No one could explain it. Then one morning, without warning, every banner in the valley moved. Not forward, not toward battle. They turned. Not toward enemies, but toward the center of the valley. Thousands of soldiers looked inward instead of outward. Creatures that had spent generations hunting one another stood in uneasy silence. Even the commanders felt it. The pull stronger now, clearer. Something in the valley was calling not with sound, but with presence. The ground beneath them had not been waiting for armies. It had been waiting for this moment. For the first time in the long memory of war, the banners of countless armies faced the same direction, toward a place where no fortress stood, where no king ruled, where no battle had yet been fought. And though none of them spoke it aloud, every soldier, every beast, every wandering creature felt the same realization pressing against their thoughts like distant thunder. The wars that had shaped their world might not end with victory. They might end with something else entirely, something the world had never seen before. The quiet that followed the banner.
Before the quiet, the first claim.
No one remembered the first battle. But there were fragments passed down in broken carvings, half-burned scrolls, and stories that contradicted each other in every telling. Some said it began with a gift. Others said it began with a theft. But all agreed on one thing: there was a time before the banners. Before the endless marching, before the world was divided into pieces to be fought over. In that time, the land was not claimed. It was shared. Creatures moved without borders. Armies did not exist, only gatherings, protectors, wanderers. The skies were open. The seas were crossed without fear. Even the great beasts walked without chains or armor. And at the center of it all, there was something known only as the first ground. Not a throne, not a fortress, but a place where the land itself was said to listen. Where those who stood upon it could feel the will of the world, not as words but as understanding. Leaders came there not to conquer but to decide, to settle disputes, to keep balance, and for a time, it worked. Peace was not perfect, but it existed. Until someone decided it wasn't enough. No one knows who stood on the first ground and chose differently. Some say it was a leader who feared losing power. Others say it was a creature who heard something in the land that no one else could. A few believe it was not a choice at all, but a misunderstanding. Whatever the truth, one moment changed everything. Instead of listening, they claimed. They declared the land theirs, not to guide, not to protect, but to own. At first, it seemed small, a single claim, a single banner planted where none had stood before, but the land responded, not with anger, not with destruction, but with silence. The connection that had once been shared fractured. Others came to challenge the claim, not to destroy it, but to correct it, to restore what had been broken. But in doing so, they made claims of their own. If it cannot belong to one, they said, then it must belong to the strongest. And so the second banner rose, then a third, then many, each one believing they were right, each one believing they could bring back balance by taking control of it. The first ground became a battlefield. The connection to the land faded with every step of war, and as it faded, something else took its place: need, territory, position. The world began to change. Places that had once been whole fractured into regions of power. Creatures were no longer free. They were trained, bound, weaponized. The skies filled with machines and wings of war. The seas hardened with fleets. And the idea of peace became something remembered, but no longer understood. Generations passed. The first ground was lost, buried beneath time, conflict, and the belief that it had never truly existed. The wars no longer needed a reason. They simply continued, because that was what the world had become, until the valley fell silent, until the armies arrived and found something they could not fight, until the ground, long forgotten, began to feel familiar, not as a memory, but as something returning. And in that stillness, a question began to form, unspoken, but undeniable. What if the wars were never meant to be won? What if they were only ever meant to end?
After the quiet, what remains?
In the center of the silent valley, where no banner had stood before, the ground finally changed. Not violently, not suddenly, but undeniably, something beneath the surface awakened. The armies felt it before they saw it. The same pull, the same presence, but now. It was focused. The earth began to shift, not breaking but opening. Light, faint and unfamiliar, bled through the cracks in the soil. Not fire, not energy as any weapon had ever produced. Something older, something remembered. The first ground had never been destroyed. It had been waiting, buried beneath the noise of war, hidden until the world was forced to stand still long enough to feel it again. No one gave the order. No alliance was formed, but across the valley weapons lowered, not out of trust, but out of recognition. This was what had been lost. This was what had started everything, and this might be what could end it. But as the light grew stronger, something else stirred with it. Far beyond the valley, beyond the mountains, the seas, and the broken edges of the known world. Something that had been watching, something that had not forgotten the first claim, or the silence that followed it, and unlike the armies in the valley, it did not come seeking peace. Or beginning, the banners still stand, but they no longer face each other. They face the center, and beyond the horizon, something is coming, not to claim the land, but to answer it, and could lead to more war and conflicts in the lands, as the four armies from each corner of the land come together facing a new enemies. But that is a different story.